Well, it didn't give me the countdown, but we are live.
Hey. Well, hello everyone. I hope that you're enjoy this great conversation tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about the healthy business owner and the healthy business. They are one and the same. And so we are so honored to have Dorcia Hart with us tonight. Dorcia Hart takes care of making sure that the business owner is healthy because if he's not healthy, there can't be a business. So with that, I'm going to let Dorcia Hart give you a little bit of background about herself. Dorcia?
Oh, thank you, Lynn. I am Dorothea Hart, a retired pharmacist that doesn't believe drugs are the the cure for everything. Okay, so you got to take responsibility for what you put in your mouth. So a little background on me. I've been retired for about 7 years. I ran into some health issues and came across some water that actually helped some of my symptoms. And what I'm doing now is helping people get off prescription drugs and taking a look at their lifestyle so that we can improve their health. So, Lynn, did you want to tell us a little bit about your business?
Absolutely. I am Lynn Lionhood with Legal Shield and ID Shield, and every good business has to make sure that all of the foundation is set up before they're able to start to open the doors and have everything run smoothly. And so that's tonight what I'm going to help everybody with, making sure that those structures are all in place that the business can run smoothly. So, Dorcia, I know that one of the things that you do is a health assessment for the business owners. So, could you tell me what that actually means?
So, because we all have different lifestyles, um, our bodies can get some problems, which you might think it's some type of disease related, but it could just be brain fog, or you're not being very alert, or you're not thinking better. You could be tired. So, there's a lot of little things that can affect your health, and it's just by some of the things that you put in your mouth. And so I do an assessment um, uh, just to find out, what kind of conditions do you have? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough? Or are you exercising? And so it's really about your lifestyle, and it really does control what happens in your body. Um, so if you're having some things, a lot of diseases are connected. So like if your sugar is high, um, your blood sugar, if you take a glass of water and you take a glass of syrup and you take a syringe and you draw out the water, and you can see how easily the water goes in and out of the syringe. And if you take the syringe and put it in the syrup, you'll see that there's a lot of pressure, more pressure that you have to press through the syringe to get the syrup out. And that's the same way as in the body. If our sugar is high, our heart has to pump this blood around through the little capillaries a lot harder. So your blood pressure might be increased because of that. And so your heart is working harder, your blood pressure is higher, your sugar is high, and when your blood pressure is high, that can affect your kidneys. So a lot of these organs are tied together. One little thing can just have a domino effect and trigger other things. So that's where my assessment comes in. I'll look at your lifestyle and see what you're doing as far as hydration, nutrition, and movement.
Dorothea, I'm a visual person. So that example that you gave of the syrup and the water in the syringe, look, I'm certainly not a young person, but nobody has ever explained it that way. But that is a great way, in my mind, for me to understand what diabetes could do to you. I had no clue, but that will stick with me. So I thank you for that visual.
You're
But
welcome.
what kind of chronic conditions, other chronic conditions, could you tell through this assessment?
Um, well, basically, what I talked about was high blood pressure, high sugar for diabetes, heart problems, constipation, a lot of things that are revolved around dehydration. Dehydration and inflammation are sort of linked together. So if you have one, you might have the other. And it's sort of a vicious cycle that goes around. If you have inflammation and you're dehydrated, that will exacerbate your inflammation, because they're sort of tied together. And so if you can get better hydrated, you can get the inflammation out of your body so that your body can actually get rid of some of the toxic stuff in your body. Your body is a magnificent machine, but it does need the right stuff to put in there. Hydration is one of the most important things that you need to put in your body so that your body can work appropriately to get rid of the toxins.
Dorcia, can someone be dehydrated and not realize that they're dehydrated?
Yes, yes, definitely. Um, it's not just looking for dry mouth. Your body might not even tell you you're thirsty because of the dry mouth. A lot of your dehydration is within, so your body has the inflammation showing up. And when your body has to store certain things, or the inflammation is all throughout your body, it starts, working on your organs in there. And so you start to have problems. A lot of the degenerative diseases are caused by inflammation, and little things like headache or dry mouth, if your body actually tells you, can really affect the inflammation. And it's important to realize that there's a lot of things that you won't even know because it's inside your body that will affect, and it won't be for like many years going along that you'll start showing other signs of problems with your body, and they can all be related to dehydration. I've heard a lot of people going in the hospital this year, and they come out and they say they're dehydrated. And what's the first thing that they do when you go into the emergency room? They hook you up to an IV and they hydrate you. And most times you feel so much better, and you're okay. Even though they do all the tests, they don't find anything wrong. It's basically you're just dehydrated.
Dorcia, are there certain drinks that people can drink that they think they're drinking fluids, so they think they're hydrating themselves, but actually those drinks are dehydrating them?
Right. So a lot of sugary drinks like soda, those are basically acid. And when we started having bottled water, I don't know if you remember back when you were a little girl or a little boy, we used to drink out of the hose. And the water was really good. You had all your minerals in there, your calcium, your magnesium, your potassium, and the water was good back then. But now they finding that because of the plants are dumping stuff in the ground, our groundwater is not good anymore. So the water company is filtering it and putting chemicals in to make it better. And so when they make bottled water, they're doing reverse osmosis to remove everything out. They're trying to be super efficient, but because of that, it makes the water acid. When you take all the minerals out of something, you turn it into acidity. So when you drink that water, it's not very hydrating. And so that's why over the years, people are getting all these degenerative diseases because they're not really being hydrated. Um, the best water to get hydrated with is hydrogen rich water. And so that water is 80% more hydrating, and it gets down into the cellular level so that your body can actually utilize it and heal itself naturally.
I have a friend that had cancer, and she was cautioned that there was a certain kind of water she should drink, and or certain things she should stay away from. And what do you know about any of that?
Well, cancer loves an acidic environment. And so if you're putting all this acidic stuff in, like meats and acid drinks and soda, it loves that. It just thrives. And it doesn't happen right away, but over a period of time, you're not balancing your body out with something else like fruits and vegetables, um, water that is more balanced, antioxidant water, alkaline water that has antioxidants. Not the kind that you buy in the store where they put chemicals in to make it alkaline. That's like they put baking soda, which is not really good for you. But drinking hydrogen rich water, antioxidant water, and eating fruits and vegetables, then you're getting more water into your body all the way down to the cellular level. And also, you're balancing your body out so that other things like cancer and stuff can't thrive in it. But your body actually will combat cancer if it has the right tools to do it. So you have to have body balance, you have to have a good immune system, and all these things that have antioxidants helps your body have a good immune system so it can fight those kind of things that are uh, fighting us at our cellular level.
Let's talk for a minute about nutrition and how important that is also in your assessment.
Okay, so I look and see, what you're eating every day, um, and it's important to eat more fruits and vegetables. Now, this when I was a little girl, the Surgeon General told us to eat 4 to 6 fruits and vegetables a day. Okay, and we thought that was a lot. Now they're telling you you need to eat 8 to 10 fruits and vegetables a day, not a week, every single day. And so that
how do you get that many in?
well, you got to start with breakfast, and if you can get 4 or 5 at breakfast. So like what I do is I put mushrooms, onions, garlic, spinach, you can broccoli. That's you just think of things that you can put in your omelet. That's real simple. Or you can have a smoothie and you put in all those vegetables. So you're starting with 5, and then at lunchtime you put 3 more, maybe a salad that has tomatoes and um, green beans or other things in them for vegetables, and you might have an apple. So that's 3. That's 8. So you're already at 8, and then for dinner you're going to have 2 more. You always have 2 side vegetables, so that way you can get it all in. But you have to plan it out. I mean, you can't just go and eat and not think that you forgot to get your vegetables in there. So if you can do that, eat those first, and then those are mostly alkaline type foods, and that will fill you up before you start eating all the meat. And so that's what helps balance your body out. You got to get the fruits and vegetables in first, then eat your meat after that. So that's
Excellent.
How you can help with nutrition.
And tell me about movement and exercise, how important that is in your assessment as well.
Okay, so we talked about the heart pumping your blood around your body and going all the way down to the little capillaries. So your blood is pumped by the heart, but there is another fluid in your body. If you didn't know, it's called lymphatic fluid. That lymphatic fluid doesn't have a pump like the heart, and so your body, through movement, moves the lymphatic fluid, which cleans your blood, and then your body is clean from all the toxins. But if you don't move, you're just sitting there, stagnant, and you're not getting rid of all the toxins in your body. So you have to move. You don't have to be an athlete and do all these strenuous things. You just need to maybe walk 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day. Now that might seem a lot, but it's only 30 minutes. If you walk for 30 minutes, if you're cleaning your house for 30 minutes, or you're in the backyard gardening for 30 minutes, you've got your steps in. And so you measure it. I measure it with my phone. I have a little app on my phone. I carry it with me wherever I go so I can monitor it, so I can make sure that I get all my steps in. And if I don't get them all the steps in at night, I might do a few jumping jacks, or I might do some walking in place, running in place, just to get all the rest of the steps in. Okay? But it's really important to keep that stuff moving. I also do a 1-minute exercise program on Wednesday mornings where we do a 1-minute intense exercise. And that gets your blood going, it gets all your lymphatic fluids going, and it gives you all your blood gets rushed to your brain, and you can think better, and you feel better, and you're alert. So you can start your day with blood actually going to your brain rather than it all being down at your feet, so to speak.
Is there a better time of the day for us to get in that movement?
Well, you should start in the morning because you want to be productive. You slept all night, you get up, and you want to pump the blood around and get your lymphatic fluid around. You get your water in, drink your water. It's important to drink like 8 glasses a day. So you get the water in, flush everything out, and then you got the movement in, and you feel great, and you can go ahead and start. You're alert, and you got your best thinking in the morning once you've got all that in. You got your vegetables in, you got your water in, and you got your exercise in. Now you're ready for your day. That's why I think.
Somebody once told me get that exercise in first thing in the morning before the devil gets a hold of you. Because once you start sitting at your desk and looking at your emails and answering phone calls, pretty soon it's the middle of the day and then it's the end of the day and it never got done.
Right.
So they say, get it done in the morning before the devil gets a hold of you.
Right.
So every morning when I get up, I think about that and say, I better get it done before the devil finds me.
Right. So if you're not a morning person, you can do 1 to 5 minute exercises every hour, and it's a good idea. If you're at the computer all day long, you want to get up every hour and get your blood flowing again. So what I do is I do one of those 1 minute exercises every hour. I get up and do jumping jacks, or we also do some boxing things. We tell people, or some uppercuts, or playing the drums. You do all these little things and just for 1 minute, you're really intense. You can see how you can get your blood just moving around and you feel energized. Along with the water and the fruits and vegetables, you're energized and your brain has more energy. Your brain has all the blood going there and you can think better. Also, your employees, you need to talk about your employees. They also need that same um, education so that they can be productive, more productive, and call in sick less if they're healthy, they're eating right, they're drinking right, and getting a little movement.
I know they have some apps that you can put on your phone too that will alert you because you will sit at the computer and not realize you've been there so long. There's some apps that will alarm you and say, okay, you've been sitting now for a long time, and it'll give you ideas of some movements that you can make for a minute or 2 minutes, and it will time it so that it knows that you're doing it for a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever you decide.
Right.
So I know that if you're somebody who gets carried away with what you're doing, those apps may help you with that.
Right, that's very important. It's very good. I know when I was working in the corporate America, this is what the employers can do. They had a timer for the whole office. Alarm went off, everybody got up, they stretched, they did a little exercise,
Oh,
and then they sat back down. And they found that people were more productive when they did that, when they turned that on. So every hour,
oh,
um,
that is
you,
good.
yeah, and everybody had to stand up, no matter where you are in your work cycle. You stood up and you stretched and you did a little exercise for 1 minute.
Oh, I like that.
So that's what an
I
employer
think I
can
should
do.
do that. I think I should do that during my meetings. I should say, okay, we're all going to stand and do a little exercise.
Yep, yep, definitely.
How long does the typical assessment take for someone to do it?
It's about 20 to 30 questions that they answer. And it might take, if you're, I want them to take their time because everything that I look at is based on your answers. So take an hour to actually think about the questions and fill it out to the fullest because that's all I have to go on is what you're giving me. I'm not getting your medical records from your doctor. I'm just going by what you're telling me. So be accurate and be complete in your answers. And so
And
once,
be honest.
yeah,
They have to be honest if they want this to work.
right, right. Because I'm asking, some personal questions. I'm asking your age, I'm asking your weight. Give me the right weight. And there's a lot of things that, your height and everything. So what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're not eating, what you're not drinking, your exercise, be honest about the exercise. If you're not exercising, that's okay. We're going to assess that when I talk to you. Okay. So I will take the assessment and create a plan just for you. It'll be a report, and you'll also get a calendar with the steps, the plan that I plan out for you, and tasks, little tasks that you do every day. And so, if you just want the report, that's one plan. But if you want me to spend a 2 hour Zoom call with you and we'll go over the plan, you can ask questions and make sure that you get on the right track so that you can start your journey. And then if you need extra help or you need a daily support, I do have a plan for that. So we can have a power call every day during the week. And then at the end of the week, we would do a 2 hour Zoom call. And that'll be a 4 week plan. So you have me for 4 weeks to make sure that you can get set on your plan and that it makes it a habit. so that you can continue your new lifestyle plan. So that's what I have for you.
Excellent. Now I know that the particular business that you're in kind of supports that health assessment, so that you don't want them going back to, because I'll tell you, this was a shock to me when I found out that we all thought bottled water was the answer to everything that was coming out of our tap that was wrong. What we did not understand is that all bottled waters are not the same.
Right.
There are some bottled waters, most of them, and most people are buying on price these days, so I can pretty much guarantee you, if they look at their bottled water, it is tap water from somewhere else in the country.
Right.
But you're just drinking somebody else's tap water, and they're taking your tap water and sending it to another area of the country.
Right.
So I know that you have a solution to that with the water, so that they get the proper water. Because I know it's not just what you drink; it's what you bathe in. It's really everything. And so, do you want to tell them a little bit about the water system that you actually have?
Okay, sure. So, from the bottled water, I mean, there's consumer reports out. They just study of all the bottled water, and a lot of them have a lot of stuff in them. Hair. I mean, they've done an extensive story, but you can look that up on Consumer Reports. But what I'm using is a water system that we put in your house, so that you no longer have to use those plastic bottles. And those plastic bottles, they're not BPA free. They leach the chemicals right from the plastic into your water. So you're already starting off with chemicals. And don't let them tell you that, don't put it in the sun so you won't get the chemicals leached out. But what they actually do is they heat the water really high and they put it in these plastic bottles to begin with. Then they cap it off. They do that so that they can sterilize the water. They want to make sure it's sterile when you get it. But in that process, they'd already leached the chemicals in your bottle. So it didn't matter if you left it in the sun or not, it's already in there. Okay. So they have videos or you can just go to a plant and see how they actually bottle the water for you. So that's really important to understand that the further away the bottle comes, the more chemicals are in it. So if you're buying water overseas, they don't fly that stuff in. That stuff is slow shipped in metal containers all the way over here to the United States. And then it sits out there in the stockyard, in the train yard before it's shipped to your warehouse. I mean, it might be in there 6 months where you're getting all those chemicals into your bottled water. But I have a system here at home that is made by a Japanese company called Enagic. And the system makes 7 different kinds of waters. They also have they have 3 drinking waters. The water is cleaned first through a carbon filter, and then it goes through these platinum titanium plates where it's electrified. So when the water comes out, it splits the water into alkaline and acid. And you use the water, for drinking, you use the alkaline part that also has antioxidants. It has higher hydrogens and oxygen in the water. So that's very beneficial to your body. That also makes other water like a sanitizer. So, you use Perel, where we're in that pandemic to clean our hands, to sterilize our hands. Well, their sterilizer, you can put it on your face. So it's not going to burn your eyeballs out. But it kills bacteria, viruses, and fungus. And so you can brush your teeth with it. You can gargle with it if you have a sore throat. If you have something on your skin that you don't want, you can spray it with that. So it has many uses. And so also a shower unit where you don't have to bathe in the water. And there's just so many uses where you just have to be safe. You have to look at what you're drinking, what you're bathing in, what you're putting on your face, what you're putting on your hair. All of those things you need to consider. All those places that can get in your mouth and get your contamination in there. So, yeah, I can send some information in the chat if people are interested in doing an assessment and take a look and see how I can actually help you change your lifestyle and make something more meaningful for you so that you can get a better understanding of our body and our health and what's out there for you.
I think it's a a very good idea too. If they know of someone who has a business that's a coffee shop or a smoothie shop, those people are using water to prepare the product that they're giving to everyone, and that's their primary product. If they were to use a much better quality of water, that could again be very, very good for all of the clients.
Right.
So it might behoove them to take a good look at what they're actually starting out with, the first and most important ingredient, which is the water.
Right. A lot of the restaurants they're starting to put these systems in their restaurants, and the first thing that people say when they're using the water is that the coffee tastes so much better. And they haven't switched the brand or anything. They also will use less coffee because it's gets into the cells of the water gets right into the coffee, and it pulls out better coffee, and it makes better coffee using this water. So that's the best thing.
Excellent. Well, I think it's well worth people's time to be able to get that assessment done with you and see how they can make those changes. Because for the last week, it's been really horrendous for me. I've had a lot of friends that have come down with some serious illnesses and some that have passed.
Yeah.
So, we all have a clock ticking. We want to make sure that the time we spend here is the healthiest and the best time of all. And if you're thinking about starting your business, you don't want to start your business and then fall ill shortly after your business starts.
Right.
Grab a hold of this right now. Just like you'd want your business to be healthy, you need yourself to be healthy as well. So I think it's probably a very good idea if they maybe take that assessment on the right foot right from the beginning.
Right. Because, your business can't thrive if you're not there. Your business can't thrive
Correct.
if your employees are sick all the time. They're calling off sick and everything. So it behooves you to be healthy, get your employees healthy, get them on the track, giving them education so that they can understand that there are different solutions out there to help you with your health. And drugs are not necessarily the right way to go. Drugs can only do so much in your body. You got to take responsibility of what you put in your body. And changing your lifestyle can actually help you improve your health.
Excellent. So now we have a healthy business owner. Now we have to get the healthy business itself off the ground.
Yes.
So I know that's where I really come in at that point. And I think that there are some basic things that people need to do in order to be able to set up their businesses right from the beginning. And I think that most people, let's just talk about a little dress shop. That woman understands clothing. She understands the purchasing of it, how to price her things. She may understand how to find some of her employees. But some of the structures of business, if she just kind of fell into going into business, maybe she never went to college and studied business. So these are things that are going to be very confusing, but she really needs to be able to do them and do them properly so she doesn't fall into issues. So I think things like choosing her business structure is very important. It's not something people think about. You have options. Do you need to be a sole proprietor? Do you need to be an LLC, a corporation, a partnership? There are advantages and disadvantages to all of them, but most people don't know those things. That's just not something we're brought up being taught. But if you have a law firm that's what they deal with, a business attorney, he can explain each of those to you and guide you with your type of business as to which is the most advantageous for you. So I think it's good to always not guess, but to get that good advice to be able to get that structure in place to begin with.
Right. So Lynn, so once they got their structure figured out, do they need to register their business name? Why is that important?
Think about this for a minute. What if I start out and I've got Polly's dress shop, and I say, oh, that's great because my name is Polly and that's what I want to use. And I start using the name and I have not checked to make sure that that name is free and clear. What if I get everything printed up and I buy all my products and everything's got my logo on it, but everything says Polly's Dress Shop, and a year down the line, another Polly's Dress Shop comes up and said, hey, you're using my name and you can't do that any longer. You now have established yourself as Polly's Dress Shop, and now everything in your life is upside down and you're back to square one again. So it's important to have somebody who knows how to go out and check to make sure that that name is available and free and clear. Make sure that if you've got trademarks and things like that, that all of that stuff is free and clear. Your logos, your slogans, everything you use, you want to make sure that all of those tools that you're going to start out with all belong to you. Your EIN number is another very important thing. A lot of people don't understand how to get that. They need to be led. Just like today you and I needed an expert to be able to get us onto this thing. This is not our forte. We're not technology people. So again, I say reach out to the people who know what they're doing and get those basic things in place, and then you can breathe a sigh of relief and get to the next spot.
Okay, well, that sounds really good advice, Lynn. So, what about regulations and licenses and permits? Do we actually need those?
I think we need those, and we need to make sure that those are done properly. Again, they may change. There may be federal ones, state ones, local licenses that need to be in place. You may not be aware of it. You may say, hey, in my little town of San Francisco, I'll go get my license there, not realizing that you need a state and federal license as well. So go to the people that deal with that every day and have them guide you through that process so that those are done. The regulation part that's what really mystifies a lot of businesses, because it seems like our elected officials have all the time in the world to start all these new regulations on us. And I think most people would be surprised if they went and Googled how many new regulations or laws affecting small business started January 1st. There are hundreds of them. They tell you that not knowing the law is no excuse for not following it, but you get overwhelmed with these things, and it's just too much. So that is one of the three main reasons that people try to get themselves lawyers, to make sure that they're in compliance with all those government regulations. Let the people who do that every day take care of knowing whether you're doing it properly or not. Don't leave yourself open for somebody to come down and hit you with a large fine, or come in and want to start going through all your books because you didn't comply properly. You want to make sure that that's done.
Right, because that's really hard for a business owner to try to take that on. So it's really good that there's
Right.
someone there that can actually handle that for you, and it's better because
It's
they have
overwhelming.
all the, yeah, really needed. So I have a question on business operations. Um, should I look at contracts and leases and
I
stuff?
think contracts are more important than most businesses think. A
Okay.
lot of people think, well, I'll cut corners and I'll go down to the Office Depot and they have some contracts that are already pre-made out. I'll just pull out a regular contract and use that. And and I don't think that's in their best interest, because they're going to use a standard contract, and then situations are going to come up that they did not think about, and now they're not covered because that contract did not address those.
Mm.
It's so much easier. We have a plethora of forms, and we have those kinds of basic contracts, and most times the law firm will say, why don't we pull out this form? Let's go through that form and let me know about your business. And during the process of that conversation with you, they find out exactly what things you need to add to that contract to customize it so that it really fits you and your business. Maybe you're someone who says, listen, I'm going to run a little daycare out of my home, and I'm going to have 5 children. That's it, that I bring into my home and take care of. So if they take a little contract off the shelf and use that, what happens if we need to address issues like child one is dropped off on Monday morning and he has 104 fever, and you've got 4 other healthy children? Well, those other healthy children's parents don't want a child with 104 fever there, but the contract that you sign with this person says that you're going to take care of that child Monday through Friday. There's nothing in place that says, well, you can't bring the child here if they have a high fever, if they're throwing up, if they have diarrhea. Those may be things that you want to spell out specifically in your contract to say, I can't take them for the safety of the other children.
Mm-hmm.
You may want something in that contract that says, what do I do if the parent decides they're going to take a 2-week vacation? Now, if I, as a business owner, have counted on my income being those 5 children 5 days a week for 52 weeks a year, well, if I have 3 of them that go on vacation for 2 weeks, my income is drastically down. But if I have a contract that spells out this is a 52-week contract, so if you want to take time off and go on a vacation, that's fine. But it's a slot that you're saving for your child, so that child's slot needs to be paid for, even though the child's not there.
Mm.
What happens if you have a parent who comes along and says, you know what, I got the day off of work today, so I'm going to pull little Johnny out of daycare, and then at the end of the week only wants to pay for 4 days because he says Johnny wasn't there on Wednesday. Well, if you don't have a contract that clearly spells out, again, that you have Johnny 5 days a week, and it's a set fee every week, whether Johnny's there or not. That needs to be spelled out, or as a business owner, your income is all over the place, and all you're doing is arguing with the people that are your clients. If
Right.
it's all spelled out right from the beginning, it stops those arguments from ever happening to begin with.
Yeah.
Again, what would happen if I had a parent that said, well, you know what, I had a little bit of a problem, a hard time maybe with income for whatever reason. They fell ill or whatever, and now all of a sudden they're behind in their payments to you. If you don't have a contract that spells out what are the consequences if they get behind, you as a business owner may say, listen, I understand life happens, so I'll give you an extra 2 weeks to come up with that. But if you don't do that and they're 2 weeks behind and that goes on for months and then something else happens, now they're a month behind. And you're getting more and more to the position where they're going to walk away and you're going to be out a lot of money. So you have to have something that clearly states, I will allow you a period of time to be able to catch up, but if after this certain period of time it's not taken care of, then XYZ will happen. You have to spell it out. And who will pay if you have to go after them to be able to make a collection? A regular contract on the shelf will not spell that out. So again, that contract really becomes vital to your business. Very much so you want to have it be customized, because what I'm talking about with somebody with a home daycare business may be totally different than the guy down the street who has a shoe store. He doesn't have any of those issues that we spoke about.
Right.
But having a contract that's specific to them will help them tremendously.
Right.
So it could save you so much aggravation later on if it's done right from the beginning.
Yeah, that sounds like that'll save you so much money and a lot less headache. And I bet you people don't think about that, and then they get
Absolutely.
themselves in
I
that
agree.
situation.
And things like leases are very important.
Yeah.
If I'm a store and I'm leasing a building from someone and the roof begins to leak, and I've informed the landlord that I have a problem with the roof leaking in my back room, and I've got my supplies back there.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose that I'm a little bakery and that's food product, and there's a leak from the roof. If I have to move the product out of the way so that that's not damaged and nothing happens, and guess what? All of a sudden, the roof is now leaking in 3 spots. You have to have something in your lease that says, who's going to pay for the damaged product that's in the back if you've informed the landlord and nothing has been done to fix it.
Right.
So again, those leases are very important. If you get a lease given to you from your landlord, have it looked at by the lawyers. It costs nothing with our company to have that looked at. And they'll say, wait a minute, do you understand what this says over here in the lease? We need to tell them that we're going to take line 22 out, or we're going to add this addendum that says if our product or our supplies are damaged, that they're going to be on the hook for that if they have not made any effort to rectify the situation. So again, a lease, they're going to tell you, oh, it's just a standard lease. But you must understand, it's a standard lease that was looked at by their attorney. You have every right to have your attorney look out for your best interest and look at it as well.
Oh, that's
so
excellent.
Again, that becomes important.
That's excellent. I know there's a lot about employees. If you have employees, which I don't even know where to start with employees.
Well, I'll tell you, I think with employees, it's good to have a handbook. We can guide them through having a handbook so that you have rules and regulations for everyone to follow. You want to make sure that if there are disciplinary procedures that have to be handled, you want to make sure that you're documenting them properly so that if the time comes that you have to terminate someone, you don't end up having to pay unemployment unnecessarily. That's very, very important. Workers' comp becomes very important. How you're people would say, I have 70 employees. I need 70 employees, but I can't afford the health care for them. So what they did is, on the advice of another business owner, which was bad advice, they said, well, I'll take 25 of these employees and I'll make them independent contractors. Well, you can't take your little magic wand and say, hey, guess what? Tomorrow you're an independent contractor. It doesn't work that way. There are rules and there's a set of questions. And if you answer yes to, I don't know, it's like 3 or 5 of these questions, that means they're an employee. They're not an independent contractor. And I had a woman who played that game. She said, well, this is an independent contractor. She told her what time she had to come to work, what time she could leave, what time she could have lunch. She designated office space for her. She was virtually an employee.
Right, right.
What ended up happening is she, in her eyes, said, no, she's a 1099 because I'm not paying for her benefit and I'm not taking taxes out. Well, that's not the only 2 things that apply. And that woman fell going out of the building and hurt herself very badly and brought a workman's comp case against her. And she used no attorney, and she said, I don't have to pay that. She's not my employee. She's a 1099. To come to find out, yes, she is an employee. You don't think she is, and now you have a workman's comp case against you. So the misclassification of employees is extremely important, and you want to make sure that you're guided by a lawyer and not just somebody down the street who tells you something, who I promise you will not be there when you find yourself in trouble.
Wow.
And again, I have a lot of people that will say under those kind of circumstances, well, Janie works at the front desk, and I'm now going to make Janie a 1099. I'm just going to tell her, as of tomorrow, I'm not paying taxes on you anymore, and I'm not paying your benefits, and you're going to become a 1099. Now, Janie may not know any different.
Right.
But when Janie is terminated and goes down to the unemployment office and fills out paperwork, they're going to ask Janie, where did you work? And she's going to say, well, I've been working for 15 years at the ABC company. They're going to say, okay, and what did you do? Well, I worked at the front desk. While Janie's filling out paperwork, somebody's in the back room checking to see if the taxes have been paid on her.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to see that the taxes were paid for 15 years, and then they stopped for the last 5. And they're going to go back out and ask Janie questions. And when they see what's going on, guess what happens? You're going to be audited. You're going to be audited for not just Janie, but for everybody. You've got to make sure what's going on over here. And that person who told you that that's how you made her a 1099 will disappear from your life, because now you're going to be in big trouble. And you could lose your investment of everything you've built in your lifetime for a silly mistake. It's just not worth it to not have that kind of good legal counsel. And that's why this is so affordable and makes it easier for everybody.
Right. So what kind of resources do I need, Lynn, so I can stay out of trouble?
Yeah, the most important thing is just good legal counsel. And what we do starts at like $49 a month for a business. They probably spend more than that on the toilet paper for the bathroom for the month. So I tell them, $49, you cannot afford to not do this. It gives you unlimited access to that law firm for so many things. It's really well worth it. And the 3 biggest issues that people, small businesses, are using it for, they're using it for collection of outstanding debt. They keep none of the money. It all goes directly to the business owner. You get a limited number of collection letters every month. That will more than pay for the benefit itself.
Mm-hmm.
The HR compliance, those things we just talked about with the employees, very important, all taken care of, and that government regulation. Those are the 3 top reasons why people use it. So it's just a very, very good investment. I think you and I have covered a lot of stuff here today. We've got a healthy employer, we've got a healthy company, and I think that people really need to think, get those basics in place, and then we can come along and tell you how to decorate the place and all the other things. You know, the let's change the logos and let's change this and change that. But right now, you have to have that basic structure in place for both the owner and the business.
Right. Well, thank you, Lynn. That was very informative, and I hope people learned a lot today about being healthy in your body and healthy in your business. Thank you.
Thank you so very, very much. So if anybody wants additional information, I'm sure that Dorcia and I can provide something in the chat for all of you. And I hope you come back and listen to the Business in a Bundle group again. Every week we have a wonderful live conversation where you'll learn so much more. Thank you so much, Dorcia, for your time tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
Dorcia, I think we have to stay on here for like 1 minute and after you shut it off.
Yes,
so
we're going to stay here for
down.
1 minute. So people were just hanging out for a minute so that it will record for you.
Do you see the button or something that we have to shut to stop it?
Yeah. So I don't want to press it too soon.